Yeah, so great. Then welcome to this official part of the meeting again. Thank you very much for introducing yourself, for making your time to go. I want to encourage you again to use chat option to exchange messages with other people who are maybe coming from the similar region or sharing interest as you. Use this option to learn something, but also to connect with the like-minded people on the call. And we are so happy that Emina Frljak from Bosnia and Herzegovina accepted our invitation to be the input speaker, since she is part of our community for long years. She is part of the Youth for Peace CC from Bosnia and Herzegovina. She is also a great contributor to the RI Global website, where she already wrote the article about some tips how to facilitate interfaith dialogue and some other important topics. So I want to invite you also to go there and read about what she has to say. She's also affiliated with the Religion for Peace Europe. She's also CAICID fellow. She's a very young person, but with so many experience when it comes to the field of interfaith dialogue and also interreligious dialogue. And she has so many things to share with us today. So Amina, welcome again. Thank you very much for accepting our invitation to be our input speaker. We are so eager and looking forward to hear your presentation, and then as a group to dive into the dialogue and to discuss further about the topic of power of interfaith dialogue, especially in these challenging times. And there is a huge biography of Amina that we will not have time to go through together here, but I'm sure that you will enjoy her presentation. So Amina, floor is yours.
Thank you, Leila. Thank you for this very kind introduction, and greetings of peace from Bosnia and Herzegovina from my side. I do hope everyone can hear me loudly and clearly. So today I will be sharing with you the things that I would say I learned through the work, interfaith work, and the things that I somehow feel the need to share. I'm not going to probably overwhelming you with too many like theoretical aspects of interfaith dialogue and all of those things. But why do I consider like interfaith as very important? First of all, I come from Bosnia and Herzegovina, and for all those of you who don't know like anything about the country, it's very important just to mention this is a very small country located in Europe, but it's very multi-religious and multi-ethnic country. It's literally a space where Judaism, Christianity, and Islam somehow meet each other and really coexist with each other for more than 500 years. So it's very important also to understand that we are a post-conflict country, unfortunately, with a lot of violence burden past, but still interfaith dialogue and bringing people together is even more important after you had this kind of experience. But what I learned is that, first of all, religion is that doesn't exist in a vacuum. It's really exists in a society side by side with the culture, with the politics, with the customs, and with the traditions. And the most important thing is that religion exists among people, among those who live the religion, who practice it, who cherish the values and beliefs, and those values are somehow shaping their lives, according to their scriptures, to the practices and traditions. And that's why interfaith dialogue is important because, religion and faith are somehow shaping our lives. And then when we interact with each other, we are actually interacting according to those values. And at my beginnings, I thought like, interfaith dialogue is reserved only for religious leaders, for high level, religious communities, all the other, people, lay people like me and like my colleagues are like, just maybe tiny part of it. But then I discovered like there are so many different types of interfaith dialogue. And this kind of dialogue, this diplomatic dialogue among religious leaders is just one of the types, which is super important because religious leaders are giving us somehow an example how we should actually come together. And when they come together, it's much easier for the communities to come together. So those, acts such as sharing iftar, because I come from the Muslim background with my non-Muslim neighbor, or visiting my Christian neighbor during the Easter and getting eggs as a present, or paying a visit to the local either gurdwara or local synagogue and somehow learning about and meeting my neighbors is actually interfaith dialogue. So this is something that we, sometimes I thought, this is not for the lay people. And my experience showed me this is very important. Interfaith dialogue is also super important, when we can come and trade side by side for different occasions, for different reasons. But, we pray in our own religious traditions. We don't, convert or we don't become Christians, Muslims, or Buddhists or Hindus just because we interact or pray with other people. And this is also something that still a lot of people in Bosnia are somehow afraid of. So it's very important. It's not about being syncretic. It's not about mixing everything in one religion. It's actually coming from your religion, enriching you, but staying in your own identity. Um, so this is something what I learned throughout my experience and working with young people. But another dimension of interfaith dialogue, which somehow it's put aside and which I think is very important, it's the rights-based dimension. It's very important that we somehow, involve minority communities. We involved those communities, religious communities that are often invisible in our societies. Uh, it's not enough if big religious communities come together, do interfaith, and then we don't acknowledge that there are also rights for the neighbors who are not belonging to the big communities. And if we don't acknowledge this, if we don't acknowledge that there is a right to congregate and have the right to express their own beliefs and their own religion in public, uh, I think we are missing a huge part of the interfaith dialogue. So interfaith dialogue always has to be rights-based, always has to be inclusive, and always has to somehow, involve all possible religious communities or spiritual communities which are existing in your own communities. And I think this is the approach that has this humility and this idea that in dialogue we enter as equal partners. And we are not patronizing, we are not imposing one religion over the other. And we need to make sure that in dialogue we come genuinely and we don't proselytize. So, unfortunately, in some parts of the world, interfaith dialogue is somehow mixed with proselytism. And this is something that we really have to somehow, make some kind of distinction. And it's very important that we understand that, religions and religions don't dialogue, obviously. It's the people who are religious and who are dialoguing. So it's not Islam coming into dialogue with Christianity. It's not Judaism speaking to Buddhism, etc. It's the people of different and diverse religious backgrounds speaking to each other. So it's very important that we understand that when we enter into dialogue, we come with open mind and open heart. We need to be able to listen. We need to understand and accept that our partners in dialogue hold different beliefs and values that can sometimes be even contrasting our own beliefs. So it's about finding and celebrating the similarities that we have, but on the other hand, it's also about speaking and understanding the differences and our contrasting views. So this is not a debate. It's not a discussion. It's not about, me coming and somehow trying to convince you why my religion is better than yours. And sometimes, unfortunately, in interfaith dialogues, people also try to do that. So it's about being genuine. It's about speaking out and even agreeing to disagree about certain things. Because the purpose of interfaith dialogue is not we becoming all the same. It's actually the purpose is ability to accept differences and to accept that other people don't hold the same beliefs and values and being in peace with that. So if we want interfaith dialogue to succeed, we must ask ourselves, are we able to sit with and accept that my partner in dialogue doesn't believe in the same sacred principles as I do believe? That my partner in dialogue doesn't hold the same values that I hold important? And it's really a question, are we able to be genuine? Are we able to come to the dialogue without ulterior motives? And are we really ready to understand that my religion might be the best for me, but it's not the best for my partner in dialogue? These are some of the things that I learned in my own experience and actually in my own dialogue, because at the beginnings I was not like this. I have to say, I was not always this open-minded, but interfaith made me this way. So I have to say that there is this really big question about interfaith that exists since the Interfaith initiative started. It's like how one can find a balance between one's own faith commitment and openness to the otherness of the other. I think this is a question that each and every one of us here at the call should ask ourselves and should give an answer on it. But my answer to this question is that, and it took me quite a lot dialoguing with myself to get this answer, but I still think about a lot about it. I still shape and reshape my answer, I have to say. But I know that without interfaith, I wouldn't be who I am today. I wouldn't be able to understand my religion, my own religion, the way I understand it now. I wouldn't be able to embrace my female Muslim identity as I'm embracing it now. And I wouldn't be eager to speak about my own religion as I'm speaking openly right now. And on the other hand, I wouldn't feel belonging to the world and to the humanity and to the planet as I feel now. Because I grew up in a very monoethnic and a very mono-religious community. I didn't know a lot about other religions. Only when I was 18, I started discovering those differences and I started learning about other religions. And this made me the person that I am today. But I heard that Maria also mentioned some tips or maybe some tools that I can mention. So I'm just going to briefly share with you some 10 tips that I created together with Sarah Oliver. You can find those tips also on URI website, but here I just feel that the need to mention them. So when you're facilitating interfaith dialogue, first and very important thing is that you know about your participants and about their context. It's really important to know that who they are, their gender, their age, their social identities, the main challenges that can be, addressed in the room, experience in the dialogue they have, etc., etc. What are the ways how they prefer to learn, etc. That's why probably Maria and Leila, were talking at the beginning of this conversation with you just to see who is actually in the room. Then it's very important to have a clear purpose. You have to know what you want to achieve. Do you want to have a dialogue of action? So to do something together, do you want to have a common prayer? Do you want to address some of the issues in your society? Do you want to raise awareness of something? But together from the interfaith perspective. Then it's very important that you work with the local facilitators, with the people who actually know the context and understand the community. It's very important to connect with people who are already locals. So not just to come from Bosnia and I say, okay, I'm from Bosnia, I'm going to Uganda to facilitate something, and I have no idea about Uganda. So it's very important that I work with people who are familiar with that. Then it's very important, on the other hand, to ensure the presence of minority groups. I already talked about that. For me, this is a very, very important thing, to not exclude anyone, because interfaith dialogue has to work according to the principle no one left behind. Then, of course, inclusivity in every possible manner. Think, of the ways how you set up the room. Think of the way what kind of activities you lead. Think of the questions we are going to have. Think of the intergenerational dialogue, which we are having in this room, and I'm super happy that we have so many different generations present in this room. Think of the language. Maybe not everybody speaks the same language. Maybe you need an interpreter. You need someone who speaks sign language. Think of the barriers for people who have some kind of disability. Can they enter the room, etc., etc. Then, of course, setting up the safe space. This is very important part. So, it's very important that you just don't start at the beginning, okay, let's dialogue, let's do some interfaith, but actually to set up this space and to find techniques where you can actually also set up some kind of, let's say, learning agreement or some kind of rules that should be respected, that should be obeyed by everyone in the room in order to prevent harm. And then, of course, understanding the different kinds of interfaith dialogue, which I was already mentioning. So understanding that it's not just about religious leaders and religious communities, it's also about dialogue of action, spiritual dialogue, then a dialogue of life, which is happening on everyday basis, also about theological dialogue. So to understand these nuances and know what kind of dialogue you want to organize, actually. Of course, the context where you're working, context matters a lot, because as I told you, for example, in my country, common prayers, joint prayers are not that common, are not that, you are not usually something that we are going to do. So if people don't want to pray together, don't try to force them, don't try to impose this, because in some contexts, people do not come together to pray, but they come to have a dialogue and talk about certain things, but they don't feel comfortable praying together, which is completely okay. So it's very good to know that. And then, of course, when you think of your context, you will know what will work the best and how it can be actually done. And of course, methodology, keep it simple. Keep it simple in the manner that you use methodology which is going to be interactive, participant-oriented, and obviously not lecturing, because it's about dialogue. It's about talking to each other. That's why I'm going to end very soon, and you're going to go to breakout rooms and talk to each other in order to have a dialogue. And at the end of the day, the final one, if you're facilitating the interfaith dialogue, you have to model the kind of dialogue you want to see, you want to create. Because, it's about really practicing what you're preaching. Because if you're trying to facilitate interfaith dialogue, and then you are very close-minded, you don't want to speak to people, or you don't want to give the word to people to speak, you don't actually foster the dialogue, I don't think the dialogue can be successful. So if you expect that people in the room follow the learning agreement, follow the rules that you set up together, it's very important that you do the same. And again, in these kind of spaces, we are all, most of us are like adults, so it's very important to know that we carry all the responsibility for the dialogue process, but as a facilitator, as somebody who is conducting it, you carry extra responsibility to model it. So I don't want to overwhelm you too much with all of these things that I was speaking already. I want to wrap up now and thank you for listening to me, probably for some 15 minutes. And now I think it's time for you to actually go into dialogue, and that we actually do what I just told you, not just lecturing, but actually going and dialoguing together. So I'm going to end my input. I'm going to thank you again for listening to me, and thank Leila and Maria for inviting me. And I do hope that we are going to have productive breakout room chats. Thank you very much.
Amina, you are amazing, and thank you for sharing your wisdom with us, and for you to experience firsthand from a young person in Africa what dialogue and interfaith harmony is. I will share a short video, and then we will go to our breakout rooms to discuss about our experience, because each of us here has a little bit of experience, and here we are. So let me share this amazing video of a friend of Sa Kipaji Sisi that has just...
Jambo, my name is James Okello Odhiambo from Kibera, Nairobi, Kenya, representing Kuza Kipaji Organization. Being this is a month of interfaith harmony, we are passionate advocates for interfaith harmony, cultivating unity through our vibrant programs in the rhythmic beats of dance and emotive narratives of drama. We transcend religious boundaries, fostering understanding and respect among diverse communities. Our performance goes beyond artistic expression. They serve as a powerful vehicle for dialogue, breaking down barriers and promoting a shared appreciation for our collective humanity. In addition to our transformative dance and drama programs, we actively engage in community awareness campaigns. These campaigns infuse with a spirit of creativity, amplifying our message of unity, reaching hearts and minds. Moreover, our commitment extends to nurturing the next generation through children's creative programs, ensuring they become ambassadors of harmony.
Wow. Interfaith dialogue has indeed several activities, several faces around the world. I love how drumming and dancing and incorporating the younger in this interfaith dialogue. I can imagine how these young kids in Kenya, in Africa, are now closer to each other because they dance and play together. So, but again, in Africa, in Asia, in South America, and North America, and Europe, there are many efforts that should be valued. And this is why we are giving the opportunity to have a long breakout session so that you can enjoy.
For all of you to hear what happened in your breakout groups, what are some of the main things that you would like to share, some of the main challenges, main learning, some experiences. Can you relate that to the tips and tricks that Amina shared with us? So we would like to open the floor. Whoever would like to share something, please feel free to raise your hand or use chat option if you feel more comfortable just writing down some of your thoughts. Yeah. Dr. Patrick Horn, yeah, you raise your hand first, so please, floor is yours. Looking forward to hear what was your experience and what did you learn?
We had a great exchange of information about how we came into interfaith and how we're engaged in our different areas. Grace, especially, I was so glad to get to know her and the amazing things that she's doing. And We talked about the importance of building relationship first, the importance of the relationship first, and then getting into the formal work, the relationship being key, because there are challenges in people sometimes feeling that maybe there's the work is too liberal, or there's global tensions that cause our local situations to feel more unstable. And so really relationship being the key and the foundation for everything. Thank you.
Great, thank you for sharing. And I think this was definitely in line with what Amina shared with us. Like, let's first meet each other, let's acknowledge who is in the group, let's build relationship, and then dialogue and all our work will be much smoother and easier later on. So it's great that you highlighted that, Patrick. And yeah, as I said, floor is open. So whoever would like to share your experience from the groups, how was it meeting others? What did you learn? How you can relate it with what we discussed at the beginning? So yeah, you can raise your hand and mute yourself, write in the chat, whatever feel more comfortable. Yeah, Ravender, I see you're raising hand, so you can unmute yourself and share with us.
Yeah. Can I?
Yeah, floor is yours.
Okay. First of all, I am very much blessed with the all community call program. Or many faces we know since long, just like Maria and Carol. So it's wonderful. Just to keep up that interfaith dialogue for peace and to learn each other religion. I think the process of relationship is a very essential. And you see that we are working, although my CC is a better community for all in Canada, and we made a lot of programs with that Zoom calls. And Zoom call is a very, very essential and effective for the program. Although it's hard to sometimes matter of distance, we can't meet each other because North America is so big and far. So I take the privilege for the since last 2 years to hold a meeting of last year. That was a fantastic year. So we had a lot of meetings with that on the Zoom International Day of Peace, World Interfaith Harmony Week, and Women's Day, and religious activities, then National Day celebrations, and everything counts to make a relationship. I always collaborate other organizations with you have seen the posters of the Maria, that many organizations collaborating with us. And that is the point that we make the relationship. And it's a very positive sign. It's a very positive sign. And on 7th March, we are going to hold a big day. That what is the day? Woman Day. Maria?
Nice. Yeah. And so let us go to hear from others and the women in this space, the younger people in this space, and everyone can share what the experience was. I heard when we were coming back from the breakout rooms, I don't want to spot you, Reverend Cecilia, but she is new for URI and she now is searching for URI and how to become a member. What can you share about your time together with your group, Cecilia? Unmute yourself, please.
I mean, it was like wonderful, and just everyone talking, and we were at certain space. Sarah, she's part of your organization, and just sharing what's going on globally in the world, and the apprehension that is, people are reluctant, to come to certain interfaith things because of, quote, lack of understanding, perhaps their own closeness in what they do and how they do it, and also to and not only that, just to be punished, for where they are and what they're doing. So I really appreciate everything. Grace, obviously, Patrick. I mean, it couldn't have been better, because I am new to this, and I am searching, to connect right? So now I've just connected with you all, and I won't let go. And so please don't let go of me.
No,
and
I have already shared with Cecilia my email, and we hope to have Cecilia in the community now.
Yes, and I just to give a plug for end of life, you know, let us not forget, you know, in an interfaith dialogue, no one cares anymore. At that point, no one cares. And so, and that is a great space to enter into, and then to you know, serve, you know, your community one-on-one. So thank you again. And grief and trauma is so important. We all have it. And so we don't want to carry it on as we pierce the veil.
So much healing happening in our world too, and so much needed. Any other voices to join and share about the group? How was the experience together?
And in the meantime, for Cecilia and on others who are new to the community, I will share in a chat just a link where you can find information how to join either as individual member, as a group if you want to form the CC, or maybe if you are part of some more big organization who want to become partner of URI, please use opportunity and you can explore it in a link. And yeah, please, as Maria said, let's use a few extra minutes just to hear more voices and welcome into the space. So yeah. Enrico, okay, Carol, please, you raise your hand.
Carol and Enrico, perhaps, yep.
Yeah, Carol, just unmute yourself, we cannot hear you.
So our group consisted of Cynthia Wilson and Goodwin, both of whom are in Europe, and talked about the things that they are doing in their communities. And we focused kind of on the war in Israel and Gaza and how difficult it is to cross the boundaries there and get people talking to each other. And I spoke a little bit about my Jewish family and how hard it is to get a dialogue going. And you have to start with establishing the importance of dialogue, because people cut each other off when they don't agree. And I also told everybody about our prayer group, which is Interfaith, and we don't worry about who's what faith. We have people from all faiths, but we're all praying for peace together. And that happens 3 times a week. That's the Love Your Neighbor group. So I think you all get that invitation, and I encourage you to join us at some point when you have time. So that's a prayer group, and we feel that everybody is worshiping the same deity ultimately, whatever path they take.
Yeah, thank you.
I see, Frederick, there's a lot of enthusiasm there. Frederick, do you want to share how your group went? If you unmute yourself. Frederick, this is an invitation. Can you share how?
Yeah, we had a great time in the group. My friend Omar brought out his the eco-peace work in the Middle East, and the tension that exists there between the Palestine community and the Israeli. But in his submission, he shows how he feels more he feels like the need for cooperation, but also healing the wounds of the conflict. That love for the Israeli, which I really felt was really good, because for the Jews, sorry, which I felt was really important in his work, because there comes, the pain, the suffering, the persecution, the violence against the community, and yet they are all of one faith. They are all of one cultural background. There is not much difference between the Israeli or the Jews and the Palestine. You find that they're just borders, or I don't know how I can call it, that create those kind of tensions and create violence. But when he spoke, I saw it was really important. You know, when we speak about our pain, it really brings out the need to emphasize this interfaith and intercultural dialogue as a key process for healing, because there exists a lot of, especially within our experiences at the different faith, you find that religion has been used to fuel violence, especially in our community where I come from. You find that religion is the biggest cause of violence. People cannot work together. There's a lot of discrimination and exclusion based on your faith. Jobs are denied because of your faith background. People cannot access certain opportunities in the service, public service, you know, and it kind of creates a very bad culture of, it breeds a very bad culture, which many of our young people have grown up into. So, like I was sharing that our work with the African Youth Peace Initiative has been focused mainly on the young people. And we are focusing on positive peace and encouraging the different culture and faith expressions to work together, like in making basso in the community. We bring them together to work together in producing like a school chalk in the schools. And as they work together, some of these biases and perceptions that they have against the different faith are kind of neutralized, because it encourages them to work together in progressive projects that can actually empower them economically and socially. So the issues of their different faith expressions, as maybe when they go to their different, for instance, the Muslims on Friday and the different on their churches, are always neutralized because of the social relations that are built. I like the point our friend talked about, relation building. The social relations that are built through socio-economic interactions, working together and empowering each other. So it is more of their welfare beyond their, then the other element is the issue of hate speech.
Mm-hmm.
You are tackling so important subjects, Frederick, and this is so important. Your discovery, the themes that you are bringing, and the work that you are doing in Uganda. Let's try and hear from one or two more persons in the group, and then unfortunately we have to give a closure to this community call in the promise that we will have 3 more this year.
Yeah, exactly. And I saw that Enrico unmute himself, and he was the one who first joined us even before we started the call. So Enrico, do you want to share your experience being the first one joining, and how you find being in a group and in exchange with others?
Okay, well, all of my experience to my community, how I engage in the society. Okay, I immersed them in the childhood to make their childhood memories are peaceful, right? Without any conflict, so they will grow up with their peaceful mind. So I think this will be solution for every conflict. They should be grown up with a song that could unite every of them, and they playing a game who can unite all of them. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Enrico. And Enrico is in the call from Indonesia. And I see that Victor is raising his hand. Victor, do you want to open your mic and share a little bit? I know that you came in late for the breakout room, so perhaps you want to share something about your experience in India, I think.
Yeah, if you can hear us, Victor, since you were joining and dropping off the call, so probably your connection is not the best one. Yeah, that is another challenge. So maybe, Victor, if you feel more comfortable sharing it in the chat, if that sounds to be easier for your internet connection. Yeah. And thank you all, for sharing. Yeah, raising some important issues like the positive peace and hate speech and preventing violence and everything that is nicely fit with our purpose statement. And yeah, I think for the sake of time, Maria, that probably we can start wrapping up this conversation, right?
Yes, Leila, we won't do that without thanking you for your efforts to build interfaith harmony. For a special big thanks to Amina and what she shared with us of her experience. Be sure to go to URI website to find the 10 tips for interfaith harmony that Amina and Sarah Oliver here created as a good help for us doing interfaith work. And yes, visit us if you are not a member of a cooperation circle and consider doing that, please do. And I think that Peter are you talking with us, Peter? You're muted. I don't know. So one of the principles of URI is principle 19. And the principle 19 says that we are committed to organizational learning and adaptation. And Ruben here and I and many others are trying to measure and create a baseline. That's why the registration was a little bit long, but we are getting info from you just to build the network and to know more about the needs of the community. Specifically in this case, what would be a subject that for a community call that you would like, or what you would like to learn. We have created a small poll for you to respond, so as we continue to learn and we continue to adapt to what you need. So I'm going to share it now. If you are able, please respond. It is a 4-question with 4 easy answers. So if you want to use the opportunity to respond to those questions, should have come accessible for you. Leila, is it accessible for everyone?
Yeah, I can see that people already start responding, which is great. So yeah, please, we will appreciate your responses. As Maria said, it is really valuable. Once again, thank you for spending time filling out the registration form. Those information will be also very valuable. And if you have some issue, let us know. But I can see that already 4 or 5 persons answer all the questions. So I hope that all of you will be available to do so. We will keep it open while we are once again. Thank you, especially Amina, for your great presentation. I put it a few times in the chat, the link to the 10 tips. So please read the article. It's very useful. Please use it in your work. Please consider joining us. I also share the link either as individual member, as a CC member, if you would like to form the partnership. And also please scroll again through the chat and copy maybe contact details of all these amazing people on the call who share it and who are doing great work all over the world. So the one of the main aim of these community calls is just to be together, share, learn from each other, but also to connect and to use this as a first point of building some future partnership collaboration and making this world a better place, working more towards peace, justice, and healing, and preventing violence, especially religiously based violence. And as Maria also shared a few times, if you have any idea, comments, or if you would like to contribute to some of the next community calls, please feel free to reach out to us. this is community call for the sake of bringing community together and opening space for everyone, safe space to share and to talk. And I saw that Cecilia also raised your hand. Do you have something on your mind that you want to share, or it was accidental?
Yes, I was trying to answer the question. I answered the first one and all of a sudden it was gone. So is there a way that I can bring the question back up? I did one and then the other, it just left. And of course I obviously did something, but I thought that.
I think that if you go to the bottom of your screen and you will find Paul and you click there, you will find the rest of the questionnaire for you to answer. At the bottom of in the middle of the bottom of your screen. It isn't there. Carola, I see Carola just saying, no.
Can we put them up one more time, maybe? I'm sorry.
It happened to me too. I pressed submit and then the whole thing disappeared. Yeah. So I didn't know that there are all other questions to answer.
So is it there now again? No. Leila, do you know how to do it?
So if it is, I'm not sure if it will work, but I saw that 16 people respond to all questions. So if you want, we can end the poll and then Maria can start it again. So for those of you who didn't respond or have some issue, please do it, but don't submit it before
we finish
before answering all the questions.
Let's see.
There it is.
Yeah.
I think that.
Yeah. So it is again here, and all of you who already submit answer, that's great. Who want to resubmit, have any issues, please use a minute or so to do it again, and don't submit it before answering it.
Leila, and while we finish this, it would be good to have a minute of silence. We have 1 minute to end, and there is so much violence around the world, and we need courage and we need energy. So that being together gives us energy. So let's join in silence for a minute to bring the courage and the enthusiasm and the harmony in this group and send that harmony to the whole world that deeply needs that. And thank you again for being with us. May peace prevail on earth.
Yes. May peace prevail on earth.
May peace prevail.
May peace prevail on earth.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for filling out the form. You will hear from us, follow up, check your inboxes for the next community calls. Feel free to reach out to us and share the world about ERA, invite people to join, read our blog post, visit our social media profiles, follow us, share videos, watch the videos created by our community team, and we are really looking forward to see you again. Yeah, as Maria said, may peace prevail on earth, and thank you all for joining today.
Thank you.
Well, stay blessed in peace and harmony and all over the world. So God bless everyone. I am very much blessed with this community call meeting. I remind you that you may join for the celebration.